Mr. President, you are leading our nation, and we have put you there. We have heard you when you speak, and we know that you mean well. But on December 7th, 2020, whether or not the nation will renew your mandate, it will not be on the basis of your performance against the previous government's performance. The previous government performance was simply abysmal. It was bad. In fact, worse. That is why we elected you by remove them from office, as according to the constitutional order of our land. So we want you to understand, Mr. President, that this election will be a contest about your performance against the mandate the Guinean people gave you, and not a performance against Mahama's performance in government. That will be setting the bar very low. And so you get this, that as Guinean people, we will hold you against the objects of directive principles of state policy of the Republic of Ghana. In addition to that, the programs on the basis of economic policy, on the basis of social policy that you presented to our parliament when you came to power, that is how we are going to measure you against the people's will, the government's duties and mandate. The mandate that says you need to secure for us as Guinean people the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. Let us prosper in our own land. That is how we're going to measure you. Now, what have you done in government against the duties that we imposed on you by law? We wanted you to do for us national identification card. We wanted you to do that so that we will not be in a situation where Electoral Commission has to do another card for us to vote. That all the data the Electoral Commission needed would have come from the national identification card system. That is one thing we wanted you to do. Because why? We have lived in this land for so long where the identity of the true Ghanaian had been wanting, where too many cards decide our lives. Have you finished the cards? That's how we're going to measure you. Has every Ghanaian been in the database of the National Identification Authority? That is how we're going to measure you. Mr. President, you need to finish that work. It's not too late. Get it done. It will not be against how Mahama performed. He didn't give us a card. You promised to give us the card. So get that job done, so that on December 7th, when it comes to the identity of who is a Guinean and who is not, the database of all the people in this republic, we can point to that system and say, behold, you delivered. Now, another thing we are going to measure you against is that, you know, this country, Mr. President, too many of us are highly unproductive, including the ministers you put in place. Too many. We're going to measure you against how many people did you make productive. When you came, youth unemployment was on ascendancy. Mr. President, have you reduced those numbers? That's how we're going to measure you. How many jobs have you created? Directly, indirectly, we know you've done something. Fair deal. We're going to find out whether the 100,000 young people that you say you grant jobs to, you have actually delivered. Actually. Not how some of your spokespersons have been running a deception contest in this republic. We will bring the data, we will find the people, and we will ask you, have you delivered on that policy? That is how we're going to measure you. Beside that, when you came, we understand that you needed to clean the financial sector, where we know so many people were employed. You did clean. Many people are sitting home. Have you added more jobs to that system? Or you have declined it? That is how we're going to measure you. And the objective on which basis you did what you did, whether it makes sense to use so much billions of cedis to cure a mischief or so less a billion cedis. That is how we're going to measure you, Mr. President. So get it that December 7 and marching forward into the future in this republic, elections context will not be on the basis of how one government performed against the other, but how the government performed on the basis of the mandate we give to our governments. Security in blessing of liberties of our people. Not only opportunities created, but those opportunities, are they equal to our people? Have you led the battle to prosperity of our people? Have our people prospered in the land? That's how we're going to measure you. And in the next series, we will detail the policies you put in place before the Guinean people's representatives. And we ask you, on each of them, how have you delivered? Mr. President, that is how the contest is going to be. A contest between the objectives, the mandates the Guinean people imposed on you by law, and how you have delivered. Not against an abysmal government performance by way of a former government. No, Mr. President, we will hold you to account. And that's how the contest shall be. So our next time, and in this series, this is Mr. President.